All right, welcome Villanova to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and get started, but before we do, I just have a couple reminders. Please mute and silence your phones for those in the room. There will be no video recording permitted outside of anybody with an NCAA capacity. Please wear your masks within the room, surrounded by coaches and student athletes. And then if you have a question within the room, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. And if you are on Zoom, please raise your hand virtually, and we will get to your question. So we will have questions for the players first. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and we will get you a microphone.
Yeah, this is for Brianna. You're the only person on the team to have played in the NCAA tournament. What has your words of wisdom, so to speak, been for the team, and how have you been kind of helping them through this process of the week before?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I can really say is just to kind of, stay calm and play our game. Obviously, this is a very big stage, and having so many freshmen on the team, new to even, a whole entire college basketball season, just kind of staying in our own, team within ourselves, and yeah, just playing our game is the only thing I can really say, and kind of blocking out anything that you might hear on the outside, because there are a lot of opinions surrounding, this tournament. So yeah, just kind of staying within ourselves.
There were some issues last year with the NCAA not giving y'all adequate facilities. Has this year been different? If so, how?
Okay. We saw what happened last year all over social media. We weren't at the NCAA tournament, but we definitely, saw a lot of that on TikTok and Instagram. I think so far we haven't really seen a lot. We got here yesterday, but I think, we definitely see an effort, to make it a little more equal with the men, the hotel having proper transportation and all that. So I think we've seen definitely an effort to make it a little more, equal.
We have a question from David on Zoom.
Two-part question for you guys. One, could you just talk about what's it like being on the bubble most of the season and then find out you were going to make the NCAA tournament this season? And secondly, what is your message to those first-timers who are going to be taking part in the NCAA tournament for the first time?
So yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking watching the selection show, knowing that we had been on the bubble. I know me, Maddie, and a lot of our teammates had been, talking about it the whole time, how we are on the bubble, and, do we think we're going to make it? Do we think we have a chance? Do we think maybe we're not going to make it? So it was definitely nerve-wracking. And then going into the selection show, there were a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, and then having, being picked in the last region, definitely a lot of, scary thoughts, a lot of nerves. And then again, like I said, just going into the tournament for, the first time, it's definitely, a very, very cool experience. Definitely take it all in, enjoy every moment of it. But again, just play our own game, stay within ourselves, and then, do whatever it takes to win.
Any other questions for the players? We'll go here.
Yeah, just basic. What have you guys seen from studying BYU this week, and how are you guys preparing to face them?
Obviously, they're a really talented team, and experience is something they have. So I think, similar to what Brianna said, we just have to play, Villanova basketball to the best of our ability, go in and have fun, and I think we'll be all right.
Go ahead, Matt.
Brianna, you are like so many of these women in the tournament. You've been in college for a while. You took advantage of your extra year to come back. What's this last year been like for you, taking that bonus year and now to have it culminate and being in the NCAA tournament?
It's definitely incredibly special. I mean, I came back with the goal to make it here, and I think that everyone on the team has had the same exact goal the entire year. Knowing it's going to be, my last season, definitely taking each game and, taking it all in and making sure I'm playing my hardest, because, you never know when you're going to go home. You never know when your last game is going to be. So it's definitely been an incredibly special year for me.
We have a question from Alex on Zoom.
Hi. How would you guys compare your style of play to BYU's?
I would say they're kind of similar, to be honest with you. I mean, both teams look to push. Offensively, very disciplined, very fundamentally sound.
Yeah, I agree. When we were watching film, we definitely, took time to notice the similarities. We are two teams that like to run, a lot of half-court offense. So I think it'll be interesting to see the matchup and see how we, match up with them. They're very, deliberate and not incredibly quick in what they do, but we kind of try to play the same way. So I think it should be interesting to see that.
Got another question from Alex.
Yeah, excuse me, just as a follow-up to that, BYU this year has been pretty versatile on offense. They kind of have a lot of ways to score. What's kind of, not to be too specific or anything, but what's kind of the general defensive game plan there?
Throughout this season, I think we have seen teams who are the same, in which, they can score from the outside, score from the inside. I think a team that we play a lot that reminded me kind of BYU was Creighton. So I think kind of in the same way, we're going to try to run them off the three-point line, make sure they're not hitting a lot of three-point shots. And then the same thing, just playing help the helper, crowd the paint, make sure they're not getting easy layups. And yeah, pretty much the same thing we've been doing all year.
Anything further for the players? All right, thank you, ladies. You're excused. We will continue on with questions for Coach Dillon. I have a question coming through on Zoom. David?
Coach, got a couple questions for you. One, can you just talk about what this season has been like, getting back to a sense of normalcy, playing a full season? Secondly, what was it like the last couple of weeks of the regular season, knowing that you guys were on the bubble and then you finally got invited into the tournament? And last one for me would be, what team from the Big East Conference best resembles the playing style that BYU faces?
All right. Yeah, I'd say first and foremost how great it is to have a full season, especially for the student athletes, just for them to have the opportunity to play non-league games, to prepare them for league play, and knowing how tirelessly everyone was working to ensure postseason play. So great appreciation for that, and I feel that our athletes embrace that. As tough as last year was, you just saw a newfound appreciation to play. And I think that's what you always say about sports. You play because it's fun and opportunity to be on the floor with your friends and teammates. And last year was certainly a wake-up, putting things in perspective. And then seeing a little bit this year of some things going up and down with the return of COVID, just continue to have that attitude and mentality in moving forward. And then with the follow-up of being that team who was talked about throughout the year, because we put ourselves in a position to be recognized as a potential postseason team in the NCAA tournament, just felt we continued with the same philosophy of do what we do every day, practice, competing, preparing, and things, the end result will take care of itself within game execution. And that followed through in the big picture of when the committee got together and recognized our performance and resume, and then our name was called on Sunday. So we were appreciative, but recognize that I think we put the effort in and the results to get here. So as we just keep reminding our players, of course it's a goal to get to the NCAA tournament, but now it's on you to have that same mentality and execution in order to prove that you belong here and do what is necessary, play your game, don't get caught up in everything else, try and eliminate the distractions, and do what you can to keep your name in the conversation moving forward.
We heard Brianna talk about this a little bit, but how do you plan on slowing down a BYU offense that's, 8th in the country?
Right, yes. As we know, they're extremely efficient in what they do offensively. It's their system, it's their style, but their advantage is their experience. When you have players who have played season after season within the BYU system, they're comfortable with what they do, and then playing together, knowing each other's games and feeding off each other. At this point, every team is a great team. You're aware of that, but in an offensively sound team of BYU, we know we have to be on point as a whole defensively. The one-on-one stop is important, contesting shots, but as Brianna had mentioned, it's not just tagging your player. You got to be there to help each other out. So staying consistent with help-the-helper mentality. But again, they're going to get looks, just trying to force some more contested shots, and then end result, just try and limit the possessions. So it has to be the one-and-done mentality, rebound the basketball.
We have a question from Alex on Zoom.
Hi, Coach. How intriguing is it as a coach for you game planning against a team that kind of looks similarly to you?
Yeah, well, I think it's always great, when you're watching games and you're scouting your opponent, and you learn more about the game. Like, you're seeing things that they do, and I appreciate even our players seeing it, and they're like, oh, all right, yeah, I like what she does. Whenever a player wants to emulate another player, they're watching their game, they're only going to get better. So I think that's the same thing in coaching. When you're watching a team that has had great success, you feel like you're raising your level of performance as well. So I have great respect for what they do on the floor and what they've done year after year, and last year, this year, exceptional. So is it a lot of work? For sure, but you want that challenge, and you want to continue to get better, and count on your team to follow suit.
We have a question. Sorry, Matt. We got a question from David on Zoom.
What team from the Big East best represents what BYU will resemble?
I think Brianna had mentioned it as well. I'd say Creighton for sure, just with their constant movement without the ball, the ability to score from the three, off the dribble, and strong post play as well. So they're definitely a team. If you're trying to prepare your players to just have an idea in mind, that's who we brought it back to, recognizing what Creighton does and has done. So this time, a lot of time to watch some film, but just keeping that in mind, the constant movement of Creighton, the effort. They're just a gritty group, and I think BYU is very similar.
Go ahead, Matt.
Coach, here at Michigan, there are two coaches that are alums of the school, and they always talk about how it means more to them to be coaching at their alma mater. You have the opportunity now to do the same at Villanova. What does it mean to you to be coaching where you played, and what was it like to take over for Harry after all the time he spent there?
Yeah, it is. It's an unbelievable feeling, and it's like every day, just the recognition of being back at Villanova and being a part of an incredible place. I feel there's just this level of I'm where I belong and doing what I love with so many incredible people around me. But I was aware when I was a player, a student athlete at Villanova, when I was an assistant, it's always about the people, and that hasn't changed one bit. Like, I came back as if I had just left a couple years ago, and it's, it's 20 some years. So it's a remarkable place. And I'm so extremely fortunate to take over after Harry and what he has provided and accomplished. The foundation he put in place, is why Villanova women's basketball is so special. So to be in the position is, it's cliche, but a dream come true. And I expect our players to represent Villanova to the best of their ability, and it's, something I certainly hold myself accountable for. I just think we're, given a lot more from Villanova than perhaps we're giving back. So we're going to make sure remain true to that. It's a great place.
Any further questions for Coach Dillon? Go ahead, Matt.
Just to follow up real quick, your relationship with Harry, is he still around at all in the last couple of years, or
Oh, yeah.
has he sort of given you free reign to do whatever you want?
Now, of course, I mean, he's around. He's definitely around, which is welcoming and very entertaining as well. But Harry and I always had a great relationship. I think, again, as a player, and then when I got the head coaching job down at Drexel, it was constant communication. And not him, it was advice, but it was just us talking as coaches. So it was fun to just build that relationship of coach, to friend and mentor. So, yeah, we see a lot of them. I know I'm counting on, he's going to be making his way in the car heading this way. He doesn't like flying, he'll let everyone know that. So I'm sure he'll be en route for the game.
Any further questions? One more over here to the right.
You've talked about BYU being an experienced team. You're a young team. How have you seen your group kind of getting their feet wet on their first trip to the tournament?
Yeah. Well, everything does happen so quickly. It's, again, we practiced after that, the Big East tournament, and we just got right back after it to prepare for postseason. But there is no way, of knowing who your opponent might be. Just really staying true to the same approach of just working every day to get better individually and collectively. And then you figure out some of the strategy behind who your opponent is and what you're doing. But with this group, I mean, I give the credit to Maddie and Brianna, how from day one, recognize we brought 5 freshmen in. We have 4 upperclassmen, so certainly not experienced in time on the floor, but within who we are and what our identity is as a team, this group bought into early and just stuck together. So it's been really great. I mean, it gave us an opportunity when we finished practice the other day just to take time to reflect on the season, and you realize how much the team actually has gone through, like individually, and they just worked it all out together to stay true to the goal they put in place. And as I said, Maddie and Brianna just took this group under their wing and led them to do some great things. I wouldn't say some unexpected things. I don't think it was things they achieved that they were looking to make sure that we accomplished, but just really pleased with the overall mentality and effort this group has put forth.
Anything further? Thank you very much, Coach. Best
Thank
of luck
you.
tomorrow.